Hey guys, it's Callous with the final match of round 2. It's winner's bracket action between Golden Sun on his well-known alt February Stars bottom side against Endill on the top. Golden Sun looked dominant against last year's runner-up Undisputed in his opening round with a nice clean 2-0, and Endl with a 2-0 over Fakes, which was not what you guys predicted would happen. But that's what happened. He's leading with Jinx against Golden Sun. He's going to insta-Ice Beam and be insta-crunched. And Jinx of note is now effectively dead because it is not holding leftovers. That might be a Lum Jinx or a Never Melt Ice Jinx. But in this case, no lefty is going to be a real issue, even if he does get the prediction right now. And he probably should just go for Lovely Kiss at this point. It's not going to be that great. I mean, if I'm Golden Sun, I would just go to like Blissey here and just, alright, I don't give a shit what you do. Or Blissey, Star me. I don't really love the Swampert switch. That could have gotten eaten by Lovely Kiss. This actually, through dumb luck, works out even better. He damages him and freezes him, which is actually even fucking worse for Golden Sun. But I don't think Swampert was the best thing you could have done there, because the most obvious move for Endl is just Lovely Kissing. Is Swampert really the thing that you would have wanted to have put to sleep? Probably not. But here we are, turn 2 freeze for Endl. So depending on if and when the Swampert thaws, that could be anywhere from an even-ish trade for Endl to potentially a really favorable one if the Pert doesn't thaw. Got a little damage on Tar, which, I mean, it's got lefties. It was just a little damage. It doesn't super duper matter, but it means more than nothing. But if you can trade the Jinx effectively for the Pert, that's pretty good. Now, granted, Jinx is usually on special offense teams, not physical offense teams, so maybe the Pert is not as valuable or as exciting in this matchup as it otherwise would be in other matchups, but, I mean, a turn 2 freeze is just always so strong, so relevant. But yeah, see, now I'm really second-guessing the play for Golden Sun. Why wouldn't you, if you had a Blissey, why wouldn't you have gone to that? The only thing that I can think of is he's worried about getting it Lovely Kissed and then instantly having Dugtrio follow up and losing his Blissey. That must be the reason, and I think that's a fine reason. So I don't necessarily dislike the play. That might have even been right. I just still don't know that Swampert was necessarily the thing that I would have wanted to have put to sleep. So I think the logic for Golden Sun was whatever it is, it's going to get hit with a Lovely Kiss, and it wasn't even Lovely Kiss, it was Ice Beam. But had it been Lovely Kiss, I think he wanted it to be something that isn't instantly picked off by Dugtrio. Dougie, if it came in on the sleeping full health Swampert, would have to really think twice before going for it, because Swampert would have multiple opportunities to wake up and just instantly kill him. That's the thought process that I believe Golden Sun was going with there. So we have very different archetypes here. Golden Sun seemingly with just generic TSS or something pretty close to it. Endl, on the other hand, clearly special offense, something similar to what Zomog had run in the opening round. Insta-switch to Dougie. I like the way that he played that. I very much like the aggressive Dougie. He didn't get the result that he wanted, but I still like the way it was played. Charizard here is interesting. That is a Pokemon that, generally speaking, the kind of team that Golden Sun is running, a 4E TSS, does not have a good switch into. If it is the mixed Zard, which is the most common and in my opinion the best set, with Sub, Focus Punch, Fire Blast, HP Grass, that is going to be a big issue for Golden Sun. I don't see anything right now that wants to switch into that. But I would note that Zard does not have lefties, so I think it might be going down to some kind of berry, Salic or Pataya, which again is not my personal favorite set, but certainly doesn't make it a bad set. If it is a mixed Zard of any kind, it's iffy for Golden Sun, and you can see here he has stopped dead in his tracks and is taking the time now. He might be looking at his team if it's just the standard stuff in the back, if it's just, Gengar Metagross or Gengar Arrow or something, Gengar Starmie. He might be looking like, what the F do I switch into this? There's the substitute on the Switch. You could pop the sub with T-Bolt or Ice Punch or whatever, but you might eat a meaty Fire Blast for doing so. Hell, I mean, if it's not a bulky Gar, the Fire Blast could even maybe kill him here. Certainly if he got down to Blaze range, it would kill, but right now, pre-Blaze range, I think Gar has a good shot to survive. Most Gars are bulky enough to where they should not instantly die to this non-blaze Fire Blast here. I mean, if it is Fire Blast, if it is, for example, Overheat instead, that would kill Gar. But it's probably Fire Blast. Charizard is not built to last, so he doesn't generally go with Flamethrower. Certainly could be Overheat, but that's more of a hit and run move than a hide behind a substitute move. I would think that Fire Blast is the fire move here, and I would think that's what we're going to see here from Endl, but it is him doing the thinking, so maybe it's not that straightforward. Here's the Bolt, and it is the Fire Blast, which the Gengar is going to live comfortably, so that's going to be a very bulky Gar, I would think, to take that little. So now what switches into Gengar? I don't know how many good special walls they're going to be on clearly a very offensive team from Endl. And Golden Sun very obligated here to just click Thunderbolt again. He could boom if you want to get really aggressive, but I think the Gar's got value in that it could scare off the Charizard indefinitely until it eats a theoretical Salic Berry. But yeah, I for sure would click T-Bolt again if I were Golden Sun here. But it's Golden Sun thinking about it. He doubles back to his own Charizard. Wow, a Charizard on Charizard match. Never would have expected that. Not a very common poke, very niche, but both of them have opted to bring the Game 1 Charizard. That is the first and probably last time we will see that in this or any CALLOUS Invitational. Very uncommon. But that's what we've got, and they brought Charizard on very different teams, too. We're looking at a 4E TSS that happens to be running Charizard in what is often a Moltres spot, and for Endl, we're looking at a full-on offense team. The Kuhn-Zard combination, well-known, has been around for a long time. This is an old school, like really old, like 10-plus years old kind of team that I don't even remember who made it. It's so old, but I do remember seeing this before. It's like there's a weather changer somewhere. It might even be the Kuhn or like Magneton in the back. I forget, but somebody changes the weather after Dugtrio removes Tyranitar, and then that frees the Zard from the sand oppression. It makes the Kuhn that much bulkier, and it sets up the Lax as well. Charizard is no longer going to be the win condition for Endill because that gets exploded on. That's going to leave us in a 4-5 situation with Golden Sun in the lead, though there is a spike beneath the Endl team. Of note, the T-Tar still among the living, so if he wants to remove the weather permanently, he's going to have to pick that off at some point before changing it. And it's now Endl taking the time figuring out what to do. Love the creativity for Endl. Definitely digging the team choice, especially against Golden Sun, who very heavily leans into this exact archetype that Endl has found himself against, the Spiker plus Firemon, usually Moltres, in this case Charizard, but the TSS plus Breaker archetype, the aggressive leaning TSS, has long been Golden Sun's bread and butter. And I think Endl made a cool choice into that archetype. I think Jinx is annoying. I think Zard is annoying. I think Kuhn is annoying. These are all good Pokemon in this kind of matchup. So I like the game planning for Endl. We'll see if he can execute. Right now, with all the praise that I'm giving him, he is still behind. So we'll see what happens. We end up with Lax on Zard. Neither player getting too cute here. Interesting situation for Endl. You don't want to body slam into a Ghost. You don't want to switch the Kuhn into a Spike and then a Focus Punch or an HP Grass. It is just a straightforward body slam here. Doesn't do a lot to the Tar, which is gaining lefties, and he doesn't find the 30% para either. Tar has shown us Crunch and Crunch only. Here's the Dugtrio switch, and there's the Crunch coming up short. So step one accomplished for Endl. T-Tar trapped and picked off. Now, if Endl wants to change the weather and try to go all in with Kuhn or with Lax, he can certainly do that in what is now a 4-4 situation. Now Golden Sun figuring out how he wants to respond to the Dugtrio. I think it's just Charizard, right? I mean, it's locked on Earthquake, so you can free Substitute or free Focus Punch or whatever. Yeah, it's going to be the Zard. That's a no-brainer in my mind. And I think you sub if you've got it. Focus Punch, not a bad play either, but sub is really safe because no matter what Endl does, it'll let Charizard follow up with an attack. I mean, I guess if you're positive the Coon's coming in, you can go for HP Grass and then try to hit him again. But sub is very safe here. You can't go too far wrong focus punching either. There's no bad plays. The Charizard is very good here. This is why some top players don't like Dugtrio, because even though it does valuable things, like what it just did, trap and kill the T-Tar, you give up all your momentum and you let your opponent do whatever it is they're going to do. Fire Blast is like the one move out of the four that I don't like for Golden Sun. I don't understand the blast there. It wouldn't do that much to the Coon if it hit, and it wouldn't do that much to the Snorlax if it hit. It misses, which is even worse, but it really wouldn't have done that much had it connected. I don't get the blast there. I like anything other than blast. I like Focus Punch. I like HP Grass. I like Sub a lot. Hidden Power there, still don't know if that's Grass or Ice. I guess if he has HP Ice, that's not a move that he would have clicked on the previous turn. It doesn't seem very useful, but certainly his only attacking moves aren't Fire Blast and HP Ice, right? I mean, unless we're looking at a beat-up Charizard, which that could be another reason that he Fire Blasted there, because beat-up at this stage of the game would be worthless. Not only are two of his pokes down, but there's not even a Blissey on the other side, which is like the only thing that set is really designed to beat. So here comes the Coon, comes on spikes, still poison from before. It's shown Calm Mind, Roar. Could still be an off Coon, still could be potentially Surf, Ice Beam as the last two moves, but it also more likely could just be Rest, Surf as the last two moves, which is kind of a weird choice on this kind of team, but again, the goal is to trap Gar, get it, or trap Tar, get it out of there, and then get your Coon online. So it totally could be that. If it is that set of Coon, that seems really dangerous here. But no, this is an offensive Coon. He's going to go for Hydro Pump and kill the Zard, but not before getting hit with a 38% hidden power, which is confirmed to be Grass, which makes it all the more puzzling to me that he went for Fire Blast on that turn. I really don't care for it. But the Coon is effectively dead here. Endl's going to let it go. There's the T-Bolt. Leaves us in a 2-3. Here's the Lax. Has to be careful about getting boomed on. But if Endl can bait out the boom, well, he doesn't. But if he had switched there and let something other than the Lax get blown up on, I think Endl could have won with the Lax. So Endl is either not good enough to make that play, or he's confident that his last is going to win anyway. Seems to be the latter. He's going to try to win with the Jirachi that has been so dominant throughout this tour. I don't know what the win rate is on this Pokemon, but I feel like it's very high. I feel like every time I see this poke, it sets up and it cleans the game, and it looks like it is a decent shot to do so here as well. As we go over every time in this famous Jirachi on Bliss matchup, Jirachi is mathematically favored by a good amount if it is in fact Thunder and Ice Punch as the attacking moves. Those substitutes do not get broken because it's 404 HP Rachi, therefore 101 HP subs, surviving the S-tosses by 1 point, which is all it needs. And ultimately, Rachi is going to be very, very boosted here before it starts attacking. And yeah, and it just comes down to the RNG. Do you get crits? Do you get freezes? Do you get paras? It's not a guaranteed win for the Rachi, but people have tested this matchup many, many times, and the conclusion is very clear. Rachi wins the vast majority of the time. I don't know what the exact number is, but comfortably, like more than a 2-1 favorite, Rachi has the edge in this matchup. So we'll see at what point he begins attacking. He's got a lot of boosts, but he's getting low. It's Thunderbolt as opposed to Thunder, which actually makes it worse. Thunder is actually more helpful in this specific matchup. He subs again, and there's S-Toss. So he's fishing for Para rather than Freeze, which I don't know. I don't know if I personally agree with that. If he's Thunder, he should be doing that. But if he's Thunderbolt, I think you actually want to fish for Freeze rather than Para. This is, of course, assuming that Ice Punch is even his last move, which is yet to be determined. Hypothetically, if his last move is like HP Grass, for example, then we know that he only needs to beat the Blissey because he'll always beat the Pert. Well, there's Thunderbolt, 31%, and he gets the power that he's looking for. So now he's looking for full para and or a critical hit at some point. Doesn't get either one on that turn. Goes for the sub. And there's the S-Toss. Blissey so far has been cooperative about not getting fully paralyzed. Thunderbolt puts her in danger, however. If it is last move HP Grass, this game looks over. Thunderbolt for the kill? Yup. What is the last move? Keeping in mind that Swampert is still frozen here, even if it's not HP Grass, so he's going to have a one-turn window to thaw. And he does not, and with that, the second Ice Punch will seal it, and Endl, the play-in player that none of us believed in, has not dropped a game yet in CALLOUS Invitational 5. This man is 3-0, 2-0 victory over Fakes, and now up 1-0 against Golden Sun. I vividly remember, because I had Golden Sun on my SPL team, the Tigers, last year. We prepped for Endl, and Golden Sun destroyed him in that match. Wasn't even close. I think it was like a 5-0, just a complete stomp. Golden Sun trounced him at that time. But Endl stepping up his game in a big way in their rematch, and now puts Golden Sun with his back against the wall. Endl can win at Game 2 or a theoretical Game 3 to be one of our 2-0 players. A tale of two opposites. Our other play-in player, Jabba the Griffin, we all know he's not good, but he goes out to 0-2 in this tournament. Endl looking for a 2-0. And by the way, guys, I don't want to put the cart before the horse. I mean, you never know, but if Endl wins here, it should be noted that the best any play-in player has ever done in this tournament is a 2-2 record. So certainly if he were to start out 2-0, which again, not trying to jump the gun, hasn't happened yet, but if he does, he'll be in a real good position to potentially break that record and do the best any play-in player has ever done. Really interesting stuff. This tour, a lot of people that have been slept on, that have been considered underdogs, that people didn't think were going to go very far, a lot of those guys are winning. There have been a lot of upsets and unpopular predictions getting the W in this tour. It's been really entertaining to watch, truly, as a spectator. I remember this from the last time I narrated a live set of Endl, that he took lengthy time in between games. I think it was a duo narration, so I at least had somebody to chat to, but I guess in the meantime I'll hang out with my cat until we wait for Game 2. Endl does like to take a minute. Golden Sun, I'm sure, with his steamy temper and with not liking to lose. Fuck you, let's go. Next game, I'm ready. But it seems to be Endl who likes to take the time in between games. I don't know if it's nerves or if he's got like a little ritual where he gets up, walks away, takes a breath, refocuses, whatever. But I have definitely noticed with him that he likes to take a little bit in between games, which is fine. It doesn't necessarily bode the best for a live narration, but, you know, if it helps keep him focused, if it helps calm his nerves or whatever to his mental game, more power to you. By the way, guys, I got nominated for The Well on Smogon, and I won. I hadn't even heard of it until I got nominated, and I'm not clear who nominated me or why I got nominated or any of that, but yeah, I mean, once I saw that I got nominated, I just linked it real quick in my Discord server and said, hey, vote for me, because, you know, I like to win stuff, and I won. So now I guess I'm going to do The Well. I haven't really put too much thought into what I'm going to write, but that's something you can probably expect in the next day or two from me. And yeah, and we'll go from there. Hopefully, if you guys are interested in asking me stupid questions, you can ask stupid questions and get stupid answers. I'm surprised that I was picked, honestly, for that, because I feel that I, as it stands, am already one of the most transparent people in Pokemon. I talk quite frequently about my personal life, my job, my wife, whatever. You guys already know. I use my real name on Discord. I mean, I don't really... I'm surprised that people picked me for that, because I feel like most of the things that I would say you probably already know. But We'll see. We'll have fun with it. No, it'd be even more fun. Game 2. Man, I mean, I'm an unbiased host, of course, but like coming into this, I was thinking that I'm like secretly rooting for Golden Sun, him being my longtime buddy and my SPL teammate and all that, but I don't know if that's the case anymore because if Golden Sun wins this game, game 2, we're going to go to a game 3 and we're going to have to wait for Endl again, which blows. So I'm kind of now hoping that Endl just gets the 2-0 victory here so we don't have to keep doing this. I don't know why he takes these long pauses in between games, but I get it for 5 minutes. Take a breath, take a piss, whatever, but like I recall last time it was like 10 minutes or whatever. It feels excessive. Give me that game 2. All right, here we go. Ooh, and the tables have turned. Yeah, it was lead T-Tar and Jinx the other way before. It is now an exact reversal of before. It is now February Stars, Golden Sun on the bottom with his lead Jinx against Endl on the top with his lead T-Tar. A complete reversal from what we had seen in Game 1. Well, not that this means anything, but the first time around, the Jinx team won. Will that be the case again? Lovely Kiss, Insta-Lum, Fire Blast, a ton. Does this Jinx have lefties? This one does, which is crucial, because the Jinx will not kill itself with the sand the way that Endl's did. The question is now, does he want to... I don't think I would Lovely Kiss here. I would Ice Beam, because then if the Tar kills the Jinx, you can just follow up with Dugtrio and call it a trade. If you go for Lovely Kiss and you miss, Dugtrio does not necessarily kill the T-Tar here. So if I'm in Golden Sun seat, I would Ice Beam here personally. You can Lovely Kiss. It's really greedy. If you Lovely Kiss a Bliss, it's not that great. If you Lovely Kiss and miss, it's really bad. I mean, unless you have an Adamant Dug and you're really confident you're getting that kill. But even then, Adamant is not a mathematical guarantee. I Ice Beam here if I'm Golden Sun, but I'm not the one playing. From Endl's end, it's really hard to say without knowing what his team is. Like I said, this could be a total reversal. It could now be Endl busting out the TSS. But I think switching to a Bliss or a Starmie or something along those lines. Nope, he does what Golden Sun did. He goes to Swampert here. So really having some deja vu here. A reversal of the roles, but a remarkably similar game. Of course, the key difference being the Swampert isn't hit with an Ice Beam and frozen. Now an Ice Beam comes down on Skarmory, and the Lovely Kiss did connect with the Pert, so that's napping. Here's another Ice Beam, no crit, no freeze, and there's the Drill Peck. I don't like the Lovely Kiss for Golden Sun. Like I said, I personally would have gone for Ice Beam instead, but it worked out fine. The net of all of this is that he severely injured the Skarm. Skarm did not get spikes down yet. And the Swampert is at 100%, but asleep and has killed 0 sleep turns. All in all, it was not the most devastating Jinx I've ever seen in my life. Geez, look at the round 1 match with Zomog and Dan for that. But it was a good Jinx. It did work for sure. Now Golden Sun has to follow up on that momentum because these Jinx teams are not built to last. So he's going to have to play aggressively and see if he can snowball based on the damage that he's already done. And it really does look like a complete role reversal from the previous game. It is now Golden Sun busting out the special offense team, and it is now Endl with the seemingly standard Big 5 TSS. T-Tar coming in as the Zapdos subs up. Might BP here, but he's also potentially getting roared out and doing that. You could just T-Bolt. Alternatively, an even better play, since we've already popped Lum, would be to go for Toxic here if you've got that, but that seems really unlikely to me because that means he wouldn't have Hidden Power. He can't have BP sub, Thunderbolt, Hidden Power, and a status move. So I don't think he probably has Toxic here, but hypothetically, if he did, Toxic or T-Wave, I would certainly go for that here. Both players taking the time. This was the case last game as well. I see a lot of parallels. They picked it up in the mid to late game, but early on, they treaded a lot more carefully and took the time and tried to get it right. Here's the BP. Very curious what he chooses to go to here. Something like a Marowak or a Fighting Poke like a Hariyama makes sense to me. Breloom is actually not a good choice here because you can't sleep anything. I doubt he has a Breloom. He could go to Dugtrio, but it would insta-get it sub-broken, so he needs to be very confident that Dugtrio would survive whatever it is the T-Tar does. Basically, you would have to bank that it's a purely special Tar in order to make that play, because obviously the Earthquake would kill Dugtrio after the Rock Slide pops sub. Golden Sun thinking about it. And it's on him to get it right. He's down a game, so, I mean, not that you want to think this way. You play every game to win, but Endl, if he does screw up, has a game to give and can get it back. Golden Sun, if he screws up, is going to lose the set and get down to the lower bracket. He opts for Pert, and it is just a Fire Blast and a miss, so that was about as good as it was going to be for Golden Sun there, because a lot of the time in that situation, the sub was going to get popped. This is not one of those times. The sub remains for Golden Sun, and maybe he can do some work. We don't know what kind of Pert it is. We're seeing it now for the first time, but Focus Punch, off Pert with Hydro Pump. I mean, there's a lot of damage it could do here. Certainly if it does have Focus Punch, that seems like a delightful move to click in this situation. I don't see much reason not to do that if he has the option to do so. But we don't even know. It could be an end Pert. I mean, we don't... It's an offensive team, right? I mean, he's not running some, like, Jinx Balance or Jinx TSS, right? It's Golden Sun, so, I mean, sure could be. He is from the same country as Smurf, who runs the wildest shit around, so I guess you never know, but Golden Sun generally keeps it pretty predictable and safe and standard. He's not the wildest builder, and he gets pretty stubborn with his preferences. I wouldn't expect anything too insane here. HP Grass and Hydro Pump, sure. So crucially, it is obviously not an off Pert because it would have outsped, so I think we're looking at just a standard defensive Pert, probably something along the lines of Earthquake, Ice Beam, Hydro Pump, Protect, very close to that. The other thing, so the T-Tar has HP Grass and the T-Tar is faster. Those are both of note. If it were an off Pert, it not only would have outsped there, but it also would have killed the T-Tar with the Hydro Pump. So unfortunately, Golden Sun does not have the ideal set for this matchup of Swampert, but nevertheless, that was a good transaction. He does massive damage to the Tar, and the punishment for that is a 12% HP Grass on the Zapdos. Overall, good trade. Pretty close game. The Jinx is still down. Endl does still have the flat-out Pokemon advantage, but multiple Mons banged up. In fact, everything banged up for Endl. 8% T-Tar, 27% Scarm, and completely sleeping. Hasn't killed a single sleep turn. Swampert. So there's the kill. And, Endl has a Bliss. I'm surprised that he allowed that. The Thunderbolt felt so obvious there. There's no way that, I mean, there's almost certainly a Dug on the team for Golden Sun. So maybe that's what Endl was thinking about. But you're never BPing there. You're always going for the kill. So I'm surprised that Endl didn't get Blissey in on what was an obvious T-Bolt turn. It could have even been an HP Grass if he was getting cute and predicting the Swampert, but he was always going to attack on that turn, so I don't get why Endl didn't go to Bliss. That seems too safe, too conservative in my mind, if he was really that worried about Golden Sun going to Dougie in that case. And the beat-up wouldn't have been as good either, because there's already a Mon down. May or may not have still been good enough, but I don't know. I think that's too conservative. I think it's too safe for Endl. I would have kept the Tar around. You could use it as fodder later, and maybe you even get value out of it if you can get it in on the Pert, because you know that you both outspeed and severely threaten it with the HP Grass. So I don't personally agree with Endl giving up the Tar, but I don't think it was like an egregious game-losing blunder either. It leaves us in a 5-5, but two of Endl's pokes not in good shape. Everything still alive for Golden Sun is in good shape. And we've got ourselves another lull as Golden Sun figures out what to do, taking over a minute to figure out how to respond to Blissey here. You would think that it's a BP. The question is to what? Pretty deliberate pace here. Only 10 turns in on this game. It has certainly felt to me like it's taken a good amount of time. Minute and a half and counting. Golden Sun pushing 2 minutes figuring out what to do against Blissey here. He can't really deduce a lot about Endl's team either. I mean, the 4 that he's shown are as bog standard and common as it can be. You don't have any way to know which variation it is in the back. It's any combination, the last 2, of Dugtrio, Starmie, Gengar, Metagross, Salamence, Aerodactyl, any of those. BP to Doug, straight for it. And there's the S-Toss. Is Endl trying to represent that he doesn't have Ice Beam? Golden Sun believes him and goes straight for it. There's the beat up. Is Dugtrio dead? Yes. There is the Ice Beam. I don't know if he thought that he had to do this regardless of the presence of the Ice Beam, or if Endl made him believe by S-tossing that he does not have Ice Beam. But either way, Golden Sun stays in and goes for it, and that is a great trade for Endl. Loses the Dugtrio outright in exchange for only about half health of Blissey, who can soft-boiled right here. We know that this Swampert does not have Focus Punch. Really want to see Endl go for soft-boiled here and not play around a Focus Punch. He should be able to piece it together that it's not there. The Swampert 100% would have gone for the Focus Punch when it was behind the sub against the T-Tar. Clearly does not have that. It's not an off-pert. Your Tar was faster. You had a free chance to Focus Punch and didn't do it. That is a bad play, in my opinion, from Endl. I don't like that at all. There is no reason for Bliss to not soft-boil there. The only thing you'd be playing around is an Earthquake crit. You take those odds. You every time go for soft-boiled there. That is absolutely a mistake for Endl. Playing around a move that is not there. Playing around an illusionary Focus Punch that he should have been able to deduce isn't there. That is absolutely a mistake. And that's going to catch Golden Sun back up. It's going to leave us in a 4-4 situation. Unrevealeds on both sides. 2 for February Stars, 1 for Endl. Gengar coming in for the very first time. Who knows? Very well could have HP Grass in this situation, but far from guaranteed. One of the weaknesses of these special offense type teams that Golden Sun is bringing is they don't always have great answers to special attackers. Can be difficult to switch in to things like this. Might not have a great play into the Gengar here, but he's going to have to figure it out. He may just stay in and Hydro Pump here, especially if he thinks he would live the HP Grass that may or may not even be there. You get knocked into Torrent range and then clock that Gengar, possibly kill it with the Hydro Pump. Golden Sun getting low on the timer. Will-O-Wisp connecting, as does Hydro Pump for 55%. Now does Endl feel comfortable going to Bliss here? Should have kept the Bliss in before, but he certainly should now. Not only is Golden Sun never Earthquaking into the Gengar in this situation, but even if it did for some reason, the Blissey doesn't give a shit. It's burnt. And the Blissey would outspeed the Swampert here and get the soft-boiled off. Come on, Endl, you can do it. Switch to Blissey here. There we go. At least he makes that play, but I still am not proud of him for switching out before. That was definitely wrong. As it turns out, the Swampert actually does outspeed the Bliss, but, like, who cares? Only a critical hit or a freeze would get February Stars out of this. Otherwise, the Bliss just soft-boils here. Fishes for the more likely of the two, the 10% freeze versus the sub 10% crit. Soft-boiled comes down. Blissey back online. Golden Sun looking like he's in trouble. He's got 2 pokes in the back, so he could totally sweep with a last poke Coon or a last poke Jirachi, or Endl can randomly switch Salamence into something that's gone for Ice Beam the last 2 turns like a donkey and get it killed. But Golden Sun was looking like he was behind, but why? Why? What were you trying to catch there? That just, ugh. This, I'm frustrated for Endl. I like the dude. I want to see him succeed. And then he does things like that. I see the flashes for Endl. I really do. I see the ceiling. I see the good plays. But then he does things like that. There was no reason. Why? Why? What were you coming in on? Coming in on the Zapdos isn't good. Coming in on the Pert there, you risk the Ice Beam. What did you think that Golden Sun was going to do? Burnt Earthquake into the Bliss, and that's what you're switching in on? Or Hydro Pump there? If the Pert was staying in, it was always going to be Ice Beam. Why throw away the Ments there? That seems so bad. Endl does not deserve to win this game anymore, but we'll see if he does or doesn't. We've got ourselves a 3-3 situation. Celebi here, depending on the set, could be a big issue. Ideal set is that old school set. The Calm Mind, Leech Seed, Psychic Recover would be unbeatable here. Would be game over going to game 3 here if Golden Sun's got that. Going to game 3, of course, means that we have enough time for me to take a jog around my building and take a shower, maybe do a full workout, eat my dinner. Gonna be a nice break in between if we go to game 3. But I'm thinking at this point, I mean, it depends on the Celebi set, but thinking there's a decent shot that we are in fact going to game 3, and it's totally Endl's fault. Wouldn't it be nice if you had a Salamence here to scare away the Celebi? Wouldn't that be cool? That switch was so bad. Endl with 2 critical mistakes in this game that I just cannot get over. I don't know why he didn't soft-boiled against the Swampert before. Would have been fine. But even worse was the Salamence switch. What are you doing? Wow, Golden Sun at +1 is going to switch out. He clearly does not have Psychic, or you stay in there all day, all night. So now he's going to need Jirachi to win the game for him, and he's going to get burnt here. So Wish Jirachi is still totally fine here. Non-Wish Jirachi probably gets stalled out and eventually dies to its burn. Endl playing aggressively, which I like. S-Toss is the way to do it. Put the clock on the Jirachi here. I think Golden Sun looks like he's in trouble. I mean, maybe he can win with the right set of Celebi here. There's the Wish to be uber safe. It's going to be all Celebi for Golden Sun. Psychic there, good chunk on the way out. I don't get the S-Toss. Why wouldn't we soft-boiled there? Yeah, I mean, Endl not playing perfectly, but he might be playing well enough. Calm Mind and Ice Beam, Insta-Freeze. That's got to be tilting for Golden Sun, who's already behind. Stays frozen. And there is Seismic Toss. If it's a recover Celebi, he'll be okay if he thaws. Otherwise, this is the game. He's frozen again. Final opportunity. Can Celebi thaw and recover? Nope. And there is the S-Toss for victory. Endl has not dropped a game in CALLOUS Invitational 5. 2-0 over Fakes and 2-0 over Golden Sun. How about that? The play is not perfect. I see flashes of brilliance and flashes of scrub. Against Coco, I was pounding my head against the wall because I thought Endl played like crap in the play-ins. But he steps it up and plays well sometimes. And, I mean, in my mind, he's not a 4-0, haven't dropped a game, dominant, world-beating player. But here we are in reality, and he has, in fact, gone 4-0 in games, has not dropped one, takes out both Fakes and Golden Sun 2-0. It has been a weird tour. There have been weird results, hacks, upsets, all sorts of nonsense. It really has been a strange tour, but it's been a hell of an entertaining tour, and I really can't take my eyes off it. It's been so fascinating this year. All the guys that you think are going to win aren't. There's a lot of underdogs very deep in the field, including guys that are 2-0 right now. It's been crazy to watch, and I can't wait to see more of it. That is the final match in real time of CALLOUS Invitational 5 Round 2. I don't know when Zakaru is going to get me the Cowboy Dan and Kurtz narration, presumably tomorrow, and I'll get that up. That happened in real time before this, but it'll probably end up on YouTube after this. But I'm going to get those round 3 pairings up pretty soon, and we're going to chug on with this tournament. But man, this has been the most memorable, haxiest, surprising Callous Invitational that I can remember out of all 5 of them, and I cannot wait to see how this tournament plays out. 2-0 Endl over Golden Sun. How about that? Thumbs up if you like the video, and I will see you guys in round 3.